Lieutenant Maurice Poland, United States Navy. So this deployment journey began in November 2019 when I received my orders. My wife and I and kids were on our way to North Carolina to visit good friends from college, Braxton and Chalise Henderson. At that time, I got a phone call from my commander from my unit. I knew getting a call from the CO at that moment meant I was either in trouble or I was getting mobilized somewhere. So I figured I wasn't in trouble, so I actually got mobilized. And he told me that, hey, you're going to Kuwait. So I said, all right. So I started preparing, got my family ready, mentally, physically, spiritually. And then that's when that journey truly began. Due to COVID in 2020, the orders were, although I was activated as of April 17th of 2020, I didn't actually leave until May 17th of 2020. At that time, I started my journey, went through training down at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. There was some quarantining in that area, a lot of waiting, sitting around due to COVID. But after that, finally, July 4th of 2020 is when I got to Qatar, where again, I had to quarantine for 2 weeks prior to getting to my actual theater where I would be in Kuwait. So I got to Kuwait July 19th, and that's where the deployment actually started. I was there working in the targeting shop as an officer in charge for targeting discovery and maintenance. It was an awesome experience going in. I had the jitters because prior to the 6 years being in, I pretty much was doing division officer work within my unit, just typical drill weekends. But this was actually the first time that I actually was seeing what true life active duty was like in the military. So it was a great experience overall. Again, just the nerves of not understanding, not knowing exactly what I was getting myself into, what it would be like actually in the Middle East to be serving my country. But I knew right away, one of the things I had to do was get plugged in different areas. The church being one, definitely plugged into the church here stateside. So I had to see, all right, how am I gonna stay connected, plugged in once I get overseas? So I joined a church there, one of the chapels, where I led worship, also led some of the Bible study sessions. But that was just one of the ways that I stayed connected, stayed plugged in. And again, when I first got those orders, like I know I had the paper orders in my hand and the initial nerves was there, but God initially put me at peace and said, I got a different set of orders for you. So this is, here's why I really have you here. So I took that, didn't really understand what it was at first, but quickly as I was there, as I was being utilized as a chaplain, different areas I was being plugged in as an officer, God showed me that's what he truly meant with me being there. It was there to touch lives, to be his voice, to be his feet, to be his light there in the Middle East. December of 2020, right before Christmas, found out that my brother passed away. So I had to be sent home on emergency leave. Went home for 22 days right before Christmas. Had to bury my brother and quickly put my uniform back on and head overseas. My commander at the time asked me if I wanted to extend based on if I would have went back, I would only have 21 days before I'll be redeploying and going back home. So after talking it over with the family, I accepted. Shortly after that, I was asked again if I was interested to extend again due to the person that will be replacing me wasn't medically cleared to deploy. So again, went back to the wife, prayed it over, and we decided to extend. So at that time, I took a full opportunity to do the full year. So ended up extending to July. So ended up doing actually right around 350 some days, boots on ground in theater. And then started that redeployment process, coming back home, trying to get reintegrated with the family. It was God felt, God sent. It was something more, a lot more than what I thought it would be in terms of the military. Like I said, God had other plans for me. So I grew spiritually, mentally, physically, all kind of areas. My marriage, financially, there was challenges there. Obviously not being able to be home, being that male presence, that father figure in the household. But my wife, Melinda, she held her own. She had some help from the church, our community, family, friends. It was just an awesome experience to see from my first deployment, how your community and family actually come around you and support you throughout my deployment. Fast forward and, coming home, I wanted to surprise the family. So on July 23rd of 2021, after going through all the demobilization process, it was awesome to actually, out of the desert, being in the desert for, over 300 and some days, to see green trees and grass and to smell fresh air. So I'm just excited to be back home, taking things one day at a time. I got a long time before I go back to work in my civilian employment. But right now I'm just enjoying the time, just being home and fellowship with my family, and excited to get back to the church as well. Yeah, but it's a different feeling to actually be like, this is like home. So I landed in Virginia, I was like, yeah, it's good to be here because I'm not overseas anymore, but to be back in Philly is a whole nother feeling. Yeah.
Welcome back to U.S. soil. What's up?
What's going on, man? It's good to see you back. Good to see you back, boy.
Love you.
It's a long one.
All good.
Once it's all said and done, between all the waiting and actually being overseas and coming home and going back overseas for the remaining 7 months, it was almost like 2 deployments in one. It's good to be finally done. Yeah. Yeah. When we moved here, 97. That long ago. Like, this deployment was challenging for me and our family, being the first one. I mean, when my wife, Melinda, signed up, for marriage, and we took our vows, it wasn't like, oh, and when you go on deployment, I'll be there. Oh, when you join the FBI, I'll be there. It was just, you know what I mean? She signed up, just said for better or for worse. So all this stuff that came after the wedding and the marriage, it's, it was extra, extra stuff that she had to manage. She's raising 3 boys, 5, 4, and 2 on her own for 17 months, essentially. With support, between my family and her family, she has the support. She had everything, on lock. So I got a lot thrown at me. It was a lot of long hours, sometimes 16, 18-hour days, sometimes just trying to stay afloat because I'm wearing multiple hats at the same time. So, and at some point, Melinda really told me, she was like, at some point, stop praying for God to take something away from you and ask Him to sustain you. It was tough, like I said, managing stuff, but God sustained me. It's not about awards or accolades and stuff like that. That stuff comes, but I just genuinely had a passion for service. Yeah, I said this will be one of the first places I come when I come home, so just blessed to be able to come back and see him. It's like the stairway right up to it.
You're saying that's a stairway to heaven?
Yeah. So when I got the call, I saw the look on his face, and I saw the look on my mom's face. I was just like, what happened? And it was just like, it's not good. And I'm like, what happened? Obviously I didn't know it was a death. I didn't know it was, possible cancer for one of my parents. I didn't know what it was. And, he found out your brother. And I'm like, all right, now we're getting there. Which one? And then he said, Marcus, And I lost it.
I'll get you home
Jitters like I'm proposing to my wife for the first time.
when you are tired.
I can do this.
Stand next to you when you're in the fire. I'll get
Right
you
here.
home.
Yep. Gotta lift the latch, I think. Well, you look like you about to steal something.
I'll tell the truth.
You guys are shy. Where's mommy? Come here, I don't want her to see me. Come here. I don't want her to see me. All right, now we gotta go get her now. What's up, baby?
Shut the front door.
Come on out. Come on out.
Inside. Oh, get you home.
It's over.
Never leave you alone. And I will get you.
Relief, right?
Hi.
No clue, right?
No clue.
Here, this is for you, boys. Come on out. Where's little Macy at? Oh,
The sorrows we see.
what's up, buddy?
I'd love you again.
Daddy home?
Everything.
Yeah.
Joseph, Mommy, how long until Daddy comes home?
Not big, buddy.
Get you home. Never leave you alone. And I will get you.
We knew from the start that when he got the call, we said this is for a purpose bigger than you serving your country. We knew that God had sent him there to touch people, to pour into people, and to spread his love. And so, you know, he's had many reports of that, and I'm just so proud of him, and I'm happy to have you back.